Well, now that The Mandalorian Season 2 is over, and I can do whatever now, I will do more Mandalorian Season 2. Yeah. We are doing the ranking of all the Season 2 episodes. I've ranked every chapter on my Wattpad, but no one goes and checks it out, because really, why should you? You don't really care, and I can understand that. But with this little shitty thumbnail, we're gonna begin. At number 8 and in last place, and what I'd actually consider the worst episode of the series, is chapter 10. This chapter is just, it's not bad, okay? But it's definitely the worst. It's that none of it feels like it matters. I think it's a cool concept of them dealing with the X-Wings, and that's a pretty fun part. And, crashing on the planet. Also, these spiders, giant beasts, we always like seeing that in The Mandalorian, but it just doesn't feel like it really matters. Frog Lady isn't that interesting. She wants to get to Trask, but at the same time, she then leaves the safety of the ship. It's odd. Parts I do like is, of course, the X-Wings, and showing Din Djarin as the father, as a pretty bad father, but still a father nonetheless. And yeah, it's not bad, but it's not great. Now, I'm sorry for this one, but this is honestly how I feel. At number 7, we have The Jedi, chapter 13. But honestly, it's a really good episode. I really do like it. Of course, Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka Tano she does an incredible job. Fantastic. And the plot of breaking in, that's actually the issue. But I do like some of the action. Of course, training Grogu. We find out his name is Grogu, but Baby Yoda, we still call him that, even though I try and use Grogu. My main issue with this one is the plot. The plot just feels really boring. We have these two characters, saving this village, which should be a lot more exciting than it actually is, but it's just so simple. And when you really think about it, Ahsoka doesn't really help him that much. She's lying to him, which, yeah, she says, oh yeah, I'll train the child, but she doesn't in the end. She doesn't really help that much. But still, a great episode. Also, Leku bothers me, but I understand that it would have been near impossible to get it right for the action scenes. But still, great episode. Just, I don't like it as much as some people. At number 6, we have The Siege. Now, this was a really good episode. I really enjoyed this. Seeing Grief Karga and Cara Dune again. Also, very upset that Grief Karga did not return. But I understand he has to run Navarro. I get that. The Mythrol returning. We don't actually have a name for him, so we just call him by his species name, I guess. That was a really nice way in putting him in, and the action is done really well. And then at first it seems like, oh, it's just a side quest, but then we see cloning, them possibly cloning Snoke or Palpatine. My guess is Palpatine, but there's really not much else to say, really. Just a really good episode. And number 5 is another fantastic episode. It is The Believer. Now, it was really good. As we have, of course, it makes the Empire. I love the bit where the Empire saves Din Djarin and Migs, as it just shows them not all as villains, and the way they celebrate. It's really just the imperial officers and the higher ups, which are absolute evil bastards. But this also makes Mayfeld a really, really good character, as it shows him, he in chapter 6 was a bit of a prick. He was a wanker, but this shows him as a relatable character, a tragic one, and also brings in stuff from, it brings in Operation Cinder from the Battlefront 2 game, and really, it's just a really well done episode, which is way better than I really thought it was going to be. Now at number 4 we have The Heiress, chapter 11. All these last 4 are just amazing. I love all of these last 4 almost equally. But one of them had to come in last, and it's The Heiress. Now, I love the part where all these Mandalorians take off their helmets and Din Djarin just stops. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. Why am I the odd one out? Well, it's because he's part of a cult. And Bo-Katan is played by Katie Sackhoff. Really good job. When she did a really good job. But I really like it when actors who actually voiced them in animation then come to live action. That's happened very few times. Very few. As I do believe it's happened before Bo-Katan. But still. Really, really well done on this episode. And we get rid of Frog Lady. And she goes meets Frog Husband. Which is nice, I guess. May I just say, Frog Lady, she's really good at putting on her clothes. All she does is shoot her tongue, and then she's in them. It's incredible. Next, we have The Marshal, chapter 9. Really good way to kick it all off. It's the longest episode of the entire series, and it's a really good episode. That crate dragon is something I've always wanted to see, and now that we've seen it, I love it. I love this episode. It's like chapter 2 and chapter 4, but if you put them together and just triple that in scope and scale, it just becomes really, really good. Of course, Cobb Vanth, his actor, fantastic. He's an honourable man. He's not, other people try to betray Din, but he's not like that. He's not like that shit. He will help Din Djarin, which is different, as we do have some allies, but most are just douchebags. And of course, making the Tusken Raiders, not just savage beasts, really good. And of course, the Boba Fett reveal. He is coming up in the next 2 chapters for sure. Now we have the shortest episode. We're going from the longest to the second shortest of the entire series. The Tragedy, chapter 4. Boba Fett is back. He is back and better than ever. Of course, he's put on some weight, but honestly, that doesn't matter. He can still kick ass. And it's... of course, there was a lot of action. Some people didn't like that. I thought it was all really cool. Especially the parts where Boba Fett shows up and when Fennec Shand pushes a boulder. And we hit the transports. Then the Razor Crest blows up, and then Baby Yoda, Grogu, the child, gets stolen by the Dark Troopers. And it's like, this is really, really cool. This was amazing stuff. And then making Jango Fett a Mandalorian, of course, Boba's not, but he owns the armor. It's great. Some people didn't like the episode, but the majority did. This was fantastic. But number 1 is the best episode of the entire series. Chapter 16, The Rescue. This, we all know why it's incredible. From the very start to the very end, it's just incredible Star Wars. The post-credit scene is easily my favourite part, where we have Boba Fett and Fennec Shand killing Bib Fortuna and taking over Tatooine. That's awesome. They now rule Tatooine. And all this tension about the Darksaber and Luke Skywalker showing up. But of course his face does look a little bit weird. But for the most part, it definitely looks better than Leia and Tarkin from Rogue One. You can fight me all you want. I definitely believe that. And the Dark Troopers just being badass. It's Star Wars at its best. And at this point in time, in shitty 2020, this is what we needed. We're back to this crap thumbnail. To close out the video, I did make a ranking of all the episodes from Season 1. My rankings changed a little bit over all, so go check out Wattpad if you want to find out my full ranking. And also the original one. It's not great. I might put a link in the description, but that's before I had this nice format. But anyway, what do you think? What's your ranking? Please just put it in the comments. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe because that's what annoying YouTubers do. But I hope you did enjoy the video. And if you didn't, too bad. You just wasted 10 minutes. And I'll see you later. Goodbye, soldiers.